When I see a client in that has gone through a breakup and just can't seem to move past it, many times when I'm talking with them, I'm able to depict certain areas that they aren't able to get over. And if you've gone through a breakup and it's been a long time and you still can't shake it, I'm going to encourage you, if you're seeing a therapist, to talk to them about your attachment style. Because how we attach as children, how our parents attach to us, affects how we go through a breakup. Now, in movies, you may see it depicted that, men go out and drink and numb themselves with alcohol and other women, and women go out with their girlfriends and bond. And that's stereotypical, but what they're playing on in those movies is what generally women and men are conditioned for. Many men have been raised by parents who maybe times left them on their own a lot, weren't able to talk to them about their feelings. And those kind of guys will develop a pattern of some sort of an avoidant behavior, whereas maybe the women were abandoned in their own way too. So those women were able to go out and seek friendships and network, and that's what you're seeing depicted in movies when they go through a breakup. But basically, when you go through a breakup, the way you resolve it or the way you move past it is largely how you attach to people in general. There's 4 main types of attachment styles, and the first one of those is secure. Secure is when you had really good parenting, you had really good mentors, and they were there for you. They talked to you about how you felt about things. So when you go through a breakup, you will grieve, most definitely. You will feel it deeply, but you'll also be able to understand, okay, this breakup does not mean that I'm unworthy of love. It does not mean the relationship was all messed up. It means we had things that we couldn't get through, or I felt like this person was not going to be able to give me the life and commitment I wanted. And so you'll see more of a healthy breakup, if you will. There's just more of an idea that they have to end the relationship, but yet they're going to move forward. And many times, these are the people who will check in on their partner, their ex, after and make sure they're okay, or that they'll help grieve with them. And I've seen that happen with stable attachers because they are able to make boundaries and delineate, okay, the relationship is over, but that doesn't mean I don't care about you as a person. The second type is the anxious attacher. Anxious attachers basically were raised by individuals that they just didn't know if the parent was really going to be reliable. They grew up always worrying, like the parent abandoned them sometimes without reason, or the parent would be neglectful, or the child would be really upset and the parent wouldn't really, talk to them about it. So the child grows up feeling very anxious about being with someone. First of all, because when they attach, they want that person to be there to help talk about their needs. And not only that, just to be with them. But secondly, they're not sure they can trust that partner. So they're the ones that are a little bit more clingy sometimes because they're anxious. And if they get the gut feeling that their partner is going to leave them or break up with them, then that grows stronger. And so they try harder to attach. So in a breakup like this, an anxious attacher will always, well, not always, but usually want to go back. They will do anything. They many times will forfeit their own boundaries to keep the relationship together. And so therapy in this type of individual would talk about that abandonment issue, about that anxious attachment issue, and help the individual going through this learn that they are still very lovable, that breakups happen, that rejection happens. And just because there was a breakup here doesn't mean that they are unworthy or that they're a bad person or that they failed. It could just be that it was good that it broke up, that the other person was not emotionally stable, or a whole sundry of things. The anxious attacher is usually the one you will see running after someone, even when it's not in their best interest. And so getting therapy for that type of a disorder after a breakup could actually be an opportunity for you to choose a better partner in the future. The third and fourth type are all parts of an avoidant personality, a dismissive avoidant. So the first kind that I want to talk about is the dismissive avoidant. The dismissive avoidant usually has a high self-esteem, but however, they're very critical of their partner. So when they get in a relationship, they blame their partner a lot. They will find little things to nitpick their partner about. Dismissive, when you have some sort of a dismissive, avoidant type attachment, usually your parents were not there. They were not able to give you what you need. And sometimes these people will numb, but they'll tell themselves that they're doing it because their partner was flawed. It wasn't so much that they were flawed. They were raised in a very aloof type family. And so a dismissive avoidant will usually have characteristics like, do they hurt after a breakup? They do, but it's subconscious. And because it's subconscious, it's underneath. So you'll find this type more going out drinking with buddies or saying, well, the relationship would have never worked anyway because it'll always be something with the partner. It will never be a close look at them. So what therapy could help them understand, and why I think they should go to therapy, is they're actually pushing intimacy away because they're afraid of it. And it's very much like the next one I'm going to talk about, fear avoidant. Fear avoidant is when we talk about people who have an intimacy disorder, like they can't get close to people. And the reason they can't get close to people is they were never close to their parents or their mentors. They never were mentored that this is a good thing. You can be close to me and I'm not going to engulf you. Basically, they don't know how to be close to someone without losing themselves. So when they go through a breakup, they're not able to project the problem onto you. So they take it very personally and they believe it was totally their fault. Now, nothing's ever totally your fault in a breakup. It takes two people. But the fact that you're afraid to be intimate because you feel like if you're intimate, you're vulnerable and you prize your independence, it's really important that you seek therapy for that. Because the best situation is to be interdependent. And that's where you realize they need me, I need them, and we're going to be working together to create a friendship, to create a great relationship. But yet we each can have our own me time. If you are a fear-based avoidant, then you can't do that because you just don't trust the system because you never got to see it modeled or trusted by your parents or loved ones. All four of these attachment styles, except for the stable one, can really benefit from therapy. It is helpful if after seeing this video, you know which one you fit in, then you can tell your therapist, I think this is what's happening with me. And it automatically gives your therapist kind of a tune-in to what's going on with you and what possibly can work in a much more efficient and maybe quicker way than going through a long type of therapy where it just never ends. Because some of these attachment styles do attach to therapy too. Not that that's a bad thing, but it is, it is important that you're aware of it because you don't want to start using therapy as a crutch. You want to use it as a learning tool. You want to practice what the therapist says and then go forward, creating a lifestyle you love being part of.